everyone, and welcome back to the Complexion Diaries, Ask Nina edition. I am so excited to start this series because this is why I wanted to even start this channel and answer the questions that you have for me. Last week I did a Instagram AMA, my very first AMA, because I've never done one before, and all of you had such thoughtful questions, and because of that I felt that I wanted to just answer one question per video and do it justice because the topics and themes are really important, and so doing one long video just didn't make sense. And the first question I wanted to really dive deep into, which is why we're here, is what have I learned from my past relationships and or dating? There's a lot of backstory to what I've learned, so get ready. But before I won Miss America, I was dating a person for 2 years. And so after I had won Miss America, I remember he said to me very clearly, you know, now that you're Miss America, no one will actually love you for you. They'll all just want something from you. And that stayed with me for so long because I think to some degree I really did believe it. And especially after winning a title like that, your life changes overnight. You're kind of thrust into the spotlight, into a new society and this new industry, and navigating that is a challenge in itself. And so I really started to think, oh my gosh, like, do people just want to hang out with me because I'm Miss America? Or they just think I'm like this shiny arm candy, whatever it might be. I really felt that everyone just wanted something from me because of who I was, not because of who Nina actually was. And I'm happy to report that in my 10-year journey since that moment, that is absolutely not true, and that people will love you for you. I wholeheartedly mean that, and I wholeheartedly believe that, because you can have wonderful, beautiful things come to you. You can have successes and celebrations, and people can and will love you for you. And the reason why I know that to be true is because it really starts with yourself. And I know it's so cheesy, I know it's cliche, but you really have to love yourself first, because if you don't, then I don't think you can attract the love that you deserve or want. At least that wasn't true for me. I've realized that unless you know who you are, love who you are, and stand up for who you are, you can't really determine what you're looking for. You 100% attract the energy that you put out there. And unless you know yourself, you can't attract the right energy. And obviously I've dated, well, maybe it's not so obvious because I don't talk about it, but I've dated people in this past 10 years. What I've learned in my 10 years of dating since then is that a lot of men will say that they want an empowered woman, but I think when they see it in practice, it's actually not what they want. And it's not to say that people don't want that and that you can't find that, because yes, again, it does exist, and I'm happy to report that you can find love. And I feel like I blush every time I say that because I'm so not that girl. I was never that girl to be like gushing about my boyfriend. I'm in a relationship now, and I'm in a really beautiful relationship now, I'm happy to say, but I just never was like lovey-dovey. I'm still not super lovey-dovey, I don't think. Anyways, that is a separate story. But what I was saying, what I've learned in these past 10 years of dating, a lot of men will say that they want someone who's very empowered and just like crushing it in life. And I think when they actually see a woman who is that, when you see the day-to-day of what that looks like, it can bring out a lot of insecurities in a person. And I've had that happen in my past relationships, that if a person is not confident and secure in who they are, then I just don't think the relationship will work, because a relationship is never about finding your other half. I don't think that's true for me. I don't believe that necessarily to be true. It was about, first and foremost, knowing exactly who I was and doing the work on myself before I could find anyone to complement that. I think it's really hard to have a successful relationship when one or both of you don't know who you are. And this is true, I think, for any relationship, not just a romantic relationship. I think it's true for just friendships and across genders and non-binary. I heard Oprah say once that you can't have people in your life that want what you have. And I think that is so true, because if someone is in your life who wants what you have, they can't be happy for you. And I think a large part of people's unhappiness is just not knowing their purpose or finding their purpose or understanding what they're meant to do in life. And that is an evolving journey and process. So I always give grace, but I do think that once you start the path and you begin the path, that's when you start attracting the energy that you need, that you want, that you deserve. And you can't answer those questions of, what am I looking for? What do I need in a person? What do I deserve in a partner? Unless you wholeheartedly, fully can sit with yourself. And I think for me, that work was understanding that I have to be a whole person before I can find a person that I want to share that with. And I need to find another whole person so that they can be happy for you and celebrate your success, and you can be happy for them and celebrate their success, because you're both on this path and on this journey. And understanding what's meant to be yours will be. And I am very happy in the relationship I'm in, and I'm happy to have found it. But I also know that I would be okay without it. And I think that's really important to be able to get to that place. And I want to be in this relationship and I want to continue it. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is the journey that you're going to be on with yourself throughout this entire life. And I think everyone who comes into your life, who you allow into your life, whether that's romantically or not, the most important relationship we will have in our lives is the one we have with ourselves. And we have to honor that first and foremost. And that is the work. That is what the work means to me. And because I honor the relationship with myself, I've realized that all of my other relationships, whether it's romantic or platonic, all of them have become so much more meaningful and so much deeper because we're showing up as ourselves. And there's something so refreshing when you finally find friendships and have friendships that you're just 100% comfortable with who you are, and you can both sit there and know that you're showing up exactly as yourself. It's so freeing to have those friendships. And some of those friendships I've had for so many years, obviously with some of my family and friends that I've been friends with forever, but even new ones, I'm happy to say that it is possible to find new ones along the way. And that's part of the journey too. And it's really, really fun when you start making connections in a very real and honest and authentic way, rather than what you should be saying or should be doing and all of the other things that come with the insecurities when you're not actively doing the work. So I hope this was helpful. I'm very curious to hear if some of you have experienced the same things on your journey, and I really want to know how that has been for you. I really want to know if you had a turning point in your journey. As I've taken a step back to even just think about this video, I thought, wow, I have really great people in my life, and I have very beautiful relationships, and I'm so happy to have built those. But I'm curious if some of you have stepped into that recently, if you have found new relationships or let go of old relationships. I think that's also a part of this process, is knowing when a relationship is no longer serving you. And going back to the previous relationship I mentioned, I think when I really think about it deep down, why I even wanted a relationship at that point in my life was so I wouldn't be alone. That was really it. And when you start making those connections in your journey, they're just like these light bulb moments of realizing, oh, that's why this happened. And that's why it wasn't meant to be. And you kind of start answering these questions for yourself, and you have so many learnings from it along the way. And if you're in a relationship that you feel is not what you deserve, I would start by asking yourself, why do you think that you're unhappy with it? Because that will at least begin to get the wheels turning of what it is that you do want, and what it is that you do need, and what it is that you do deserve. Because ultimately it is about knowing who you are, loving who you are, honoring who you are, and standing up for who you are. And I hope that you can find a little bit of that here. So thank you for joining the conversation, and come again.